Before we get into this, I will address the fact that we have no score on the in-game screen. A large part of this is because our UI doesn't really allow anything that would make sense for the way this clan war is being handled, since it's 9 games, no matter what, but it's still quote-unquote a best of 9, so of course we'll see the scores out of game between the overlays. But getting into this, guys, hello, welcome, this is Rifkin, I'm casting today with Ord, and Ord, would you kindly take us away?
Starting in the lower right-hand corner of our screen, it is from oGaming team. It is our red turret, Sandshrew.
And his opponent in the upper left corner of the map, from the Clarity Gaming community, it's our teal Protoss player, Fede. And if I'm saying... Well, I'm going to say real quick, disclaimer guys, before we get into any other games today, if I'm saying a player's name wrong, my sincerest apologies. It does happen from time to time, so if that's not how I pronounce this person's name, feel free to correct me and I'll try and keep note of it if I cast him ever again in the future.
Yes, please. And both teams were kind enough to provide us with a little bit of information about each player, so we'll kind of be using that as part of the intro. Specifically, we have for oGaming, Sandshrew. He's a European Terran, and he was a late replacement. Adjectives they use to describe him are agile, elusive, and hard-hitting. He's this, he apparently, oh my goodness, has made a lot of progress recently, is a high-level Masters player, and his opponent, Fede Protoss, he is, they did not tell me where he's from, but he apparently is also a pretty new addition to his team. He has most recently made it onto the roster to play today because of his placement in recent in-house tournaments. So even though his ladder rank is not as high as some of the other guys we'll be seeing, apparently his in-house ranking is very high. And I like that a lot. I'm so happy that we got invited to do this because this is one of the development leagues for both these teams. Not quite their A team, but the guys who are going to be there sooner rather than later.
You know, Ord, something I think that's very important to point out here, Sandshrew must be younger than the age of 22. You know why?
Yep. Pokemon.
Yeah. Otherwise you'd be a Sandslash.
Oh god.
But okay, getting into this game, I'll proper
Did
like...
you just use this specific level? Oh,
perhaps.
I wasn't quite there.
But guys, getting into this game all proper, like pretending the shenanigans are put to a side, I gotta comment on, I really like the opening coming out of Sandshrew, but oh, he's gonna lose the SCV. Nope, will get out just barely. Of course, it's also a little bit slower, but there's not too many people who will do this versus a Protoss player anymore, where you see the wall off at the front. Now, this isn't saying I like it because it's good. Quite frankly, he's gonna lose these depots at some point in this game, I imagine. But I like it because it's going to work for what's happening right now, and that is the fact that Fede has chronoed out a Zealot and a Stalker, and he's trying to get it across the field to do some poke. Right now, he's very limited and can't really get up this ramp. Sure, the Stalker will get here and do a ton of damage to the Marines, but realistically, Sandshrew shouldn't have to deal with these guys dancing around the mineral lines like would otherwise be the case. I mean, how many times have you seen or played on ladder where a Mothership Core, Stalker, and Zealot does way more damage than it should?
Definitely something that you don't want to have to deal with. Second refinery here is finished and immediately has all 3 SCVs put inside of it, so looks like with the early commencer, the early factory, the early gas, we're
oh no, the SCV! Rest in peace!
First blood.
I didn't want to talk because it's first blood.
Yeah! But Sandshrew, okay, so the reason this opening is a little weird to me, guys, is, let's say our Protoss player goes for not even a 4 gate, but just 3 gate pressure. You bring the Mothership Core, high ground vision, pick off both the supply depots, and losing supplies to Terran player early on sucks. But he's got the command center up behind this. He's got, I mean, the way this turned out, this worked out nicely for him. But 9 times out of 10, you'll see players like Polt and the really top-notch Terran players specifically not do this. But it worked out for him here today, so it's really cool that it did.
Tech Lab is going to be the follow-up on the racks. I wonder if that's going to be a swap out for the starport. No, okay, we do see the medevacs. We're going to likely see that Widow Mine drop. That's what I always thought he was intending for. And Fede right now, for clarity, just kind of hanging out at home. He had the one little poke for a moment, but right now he's just making an observer that's going to go scout, and he's going to be pretty passive throughout. Scan comes down from Sandshrew. Great choice on the timing there. Is able to see the fact that no gases are taken on the low ground.
You know, this is actually kind of cool what Fede's doing right now. I wouldn't even go as far as to call it super effective, but if it works for him, it works, and I'm not going to complain. But he's actually got the pro patrolling out here because it's very typical of a Terran player to push early with a good handful of bio. And by handful, I usually mean like 2 Marauders, 6 Marines, and whatever else he can manage to get out in that time period. But instead, we have Hellbat drops coming across the field. Now, I saw that armory coming up, and I was sitting there thinking, like, why would he go for the armory in that tech lab? And he's just going to advance his bio. So this is not going to be Hellbats into mech like you would typically see, but instead will be Hellbat drops coupled with bio. And this works really nicely because Hellbats, of course, do great against Zealots in the late game.
Yeah, they do. And it looks actually like this is going to arrive completely undetected up around the north side. There are a few Stalkers in position, but only 2. Here comes the boost. Hellbats will be dropped right on top of some of the probes. None of them get pulled. Hellbats actually...
Oh no, they're pulled into the Hellbats though!
Lots of them going down, and we have Planetary Nexus being placed down, but actually the medevac will manage to get out of here as the Hellbats try to target down the Stalkers. That was the only thing they could get to.
That's actually a little bit of a mistake there. The Planetary Nexus, the Photon Overcharge, if you will, should have been targeting the medevac, because guys, if you don't know this, Hellbat drops... Who cares about the Hellbats? There's not a single Terran player in the world who cares about losing those Hellbats, but it's the medevac that is so precious and gas intensive, you don't want to lose that. So, in my eyes, I mean, he already pulled the probes, they were safe. He should have focused fire down that medevac, but still, not a big deal. He cleaned this up, he goes back to mining. At the cost of 9 workers, okay, it's nothing great for him, but he has to make sure that future Hellbats are dropped, or sorry, drops are shut down. But we got another one coming here. He scans, he sees the army. Sandshrew, what are you doing? You saw those Stalkers!
Don't understand.
Oh, he's going for the sentries.
I guess. And
yeah,
they get them one more shot.
No. The first Hellbat was too far away. It was forced to shoot the Stalkers instead. As we see here, one more blast would have done it, but just barely couldn't kill those sentries.
It was a very nice pathing choice, I thought, at first, because there was the observer that went to the north, and it was essentially a recycle of the exact same drop up until that point where Sandshrew got a little bit greedy. If he had managed to kill those sentries, though, he gets to walk up this ramp, and likely, Fede has to retreat up to his main and sacrifice his expansion. But as it stands, Fede actually has a supply advantage.
Where is that mothership core? I'm looking all over for it. I could just click on it, that makes sense. There we go. Okay, it does have the energy to Photon Overcharge once. I mean, right now, Sandshrew, if he just baits out the overcharge and walks back down the ramp, he'll be okay. Oh no, but he's a little bit too close.
Thrown down. Finally, one is nice little hit there with the Widow Mine on the observer.
Oh, the Immortal's actually going down very quickly due to the Hellbats.
Yeah, doing some work, but the target fire finally does come down. Widow Mine, one more shot would be very nice out of them. Unfortunately, it's just one Marine left. Now there's none. There's nothing to shoot up at all. Marauders have a little bit of range right now, and...
Oh, that sentry lives with 1 health on it, Ord. Maybe not for long if he leaves the Widow Mines there, but I want to point out something here. I mean, the positioning of this was not bad. That was actually a fairly good engagement for Sandshrew. He traded for the Immortal. Kind of sucked because he lost the medevacs in the end there, but all in all, not too bad of a push. I really would have liked if he could have done more damage with this. But the big key thing is, a lot of players forget the Widow Mine damage, it's spell damage. It actually goes through the hardened shields. Not that it's the easiest thing to do, and I'm not saying Sandshrew could have, should have, or would have targeted fire there, but getting Widow Mines on the front line, the way he did, actually works very effectively versus Protoss compositions.
Yeah, definitely can. And Fede now is going to put down some more gateways. Doesn't really look like he's going to set up the third base. He's knocking down these rocks, but hasn't really saved up any money making it look like he's going to lay down a Nexus. And there is another Hellbat drop that's coming around to the north side. At the same time, though, Fede has charge on the way as well as Blink, and some Stalkers are easily in position. This medevac
with the cannon
going to make it out of there. Nice.
Such a nice position on that cannon. A really nice investment. After you see your opponent throw away 4 medevacs worth of drops, it's absolutely worth investing that cannon. Because one at each side of the base, while it's not going to kill the medevac before it unloads the Hellbats, it will draw the attention away. And sometimes those 2 seconds are all you need to pull your probes. But oh my god, look at the saturation here at the natural. Fede definitely wants to spread out to this 30. He's got 30 in the main, 30 in the natural. This is far too many probes, Sword.
He's just getting prepared. Getting ready. And actually, Sandshrew, we've seen a little bit of miss macro Actually, to be honest, he's been missing some production cycles that he could have been hitting there, so he's stuck a little bit lower supply than he might want to be. Storm is about to finish up, and we got Bio-centric Terran against a 3-base Protoss with Storm. I'm a little bit afraid for Sandshrew.
Well, actually, an interesting thing about the composition from Sandshrew I want to point out is there's pretty much no anti-air here. I mean, not that Sandshrew is dealing with Void Rays by any means or carriers or such, but he actually has no anti-air. 2 Marines with this army, and that's about it. So hitting this Colossus going to be very difficult. Now we do have Storms, which are okay, cool, whatever, but without a sturdy Viking count, you can't really rush into Colossus, even if it's just 1.
Here we go, and Fede finally is going to start to be aggressive, I think, once this War Prism does come out. You get on the field. Right now, it's just kind of been hanging out, going back and forth, defending against drops. Farthest he's made it on the map is to the center there, but then he turned right around. I'm surprised. He's just kind of letting Sandshrew do whatever he wants, and thus far, I don't think Sandshrew's taken full advantage of that. He could have perhaps cheated, put down a 4th command center a little bit earlier than anyone would expect. Oh yeah, get that mule.
Well, we've got both Blink and Extended Thermal Lance on the way. The weapon upgrades are kind of negligible. If he gets his actual tech on the field, then he can start pushing, but I'm a little curious in his choice to invest in Blink with how much he's put into these Zealots, combined with the fact that he already has charge. Now, Ord, ooh, we see something very cool, special tacticsy, if you will. Not because it's a Warp Prism, but because there's a Templar with Storm available inside that Warp Prism. This SCV line of the 3rd is going to be in for a lot of trouble.
And there's really nothing there. And I mean, Sandshrew definitely has fixed his composition quite a bit. He's got 16 Marines out there now. And, looks like Fede is going to push out across the center. Perhaps is going to distract and then drop, or the other way around.
I'd like for him to use this drop as a distraction. He doesn't even need to push for this, quite frankly. He should wait on his tech. But storming his own Zealots.
Storm. Oh, okay. That was a little awkward for the Zealots, but they're fine. They still get some kills. Charge lets them chase down, and actually a lot of mining time being lost right now. Really, the most important thing would be, keeping Warp Prism alive. It's got to get out.
It can outrun Vikings now. It could not before, but guys, after the patch, an unupgraded Warp Prism can outrun Vikings. And he's even going for the Gravitic Drive, so it's going to be even quicker. A Warp Prism, by the way, with Gravitic Drive is about as fast as a Stim Marine. I'm not sure actually if they got the exact same movement speed or not, but it's very close.
And Dark Shrine about to finish up here, Doom, for Fede, who still has the supply advantage. And if we look at his vision on the minimap, he really has been doing a fantastic job so far. Spreading out, has the southern Xel'Naga, has pylons all over the place.
Yeah, he's got that map control. I really like to, like, David Kim, totally shedding a tear right now of happiness and joy, as we do have that late game Dark Shrine making an appearance. And this will work really nicely because, despite the fact that Sandshrew is now throwing turrets down, Dark Templar chew through turrets very quickly.
And there's one missile turret down here to the south. The main army, pretty much every attacking unit of Sandshrew is on the way out, but this Warp Prism is on the way back in to the south and is not unloading anything. Finally does on the high ground.
He's got that Templar still. He can go for a Storm. But meanwhile, we have the entire army of Sandshrew across the field. 5 Ghosts with EMP ready. Ord, this is going to get nasty.
Yeah, definitely. A scan comes down up front. Fede decides to come down off the high ground. Actually, he snipes almost all of the ghosts before a lot of the EMPs can get laid down. That's a big deal for him. Guardian Shield also being useful. Needs to lay down some storms. Nice dodge there by Sandshrew. Oh, not on
the Archons are still standing, though, and this is the scary thing because, well, now they've popped, but the EMPs only hit one of them. And, ooh, the Colossus is going to fall, but, I mean, Fede should be able to clean this up with the charge lots and stalkers. He should be okay. In fact, I'd love for him to move in with the Warp Prism behind this because he knows.
That medevac.
Oh, that medevac full of units. Not long for this world. He's gonna lose that 4th, but that's okay. He's still mining off 3 bases. He's got this Warp Prism now starting to come back. He's gonna go for a Dark Templar warp in, no question about it. He's also still got this Templar, which is ready to storm, guys.
Yeah, it's been saving up energy, and still a soft spot over here. It's a little disappointing to see. It's ready for a warp in.
Oh, he's waiting on gas. I'd say just do Zealots if you don't have gas. But either way, he's got to move. He's got to move. Stim Marine's coming in here.
Man, that would have been really fantastic if he had done that. Like, even 1DT just to kind of run around and cause havoc. A few Zealots to take out the Assimilator, because thus far Sandshrew still on 3 bases, not really looking towards the 4th, and he's basically out of minerals in his main and his natural. 750, yeah.
Oh man, so many SCVs on that one mineral patch. Just kind of almost curb stomping the poor minerals. But okay, that drop is locked and ready to go. We've got Dark Templar coming out. We got a storm going down immediately on top of the turret. SCVs just melt.
Everything beelines for the missile turret. There is a scan over the top there, and a very nice one at that. Ooh,
oh,
dangerous pickup!
Oh, very dangerous pickup. Loses both the Templars. And not too bad. I mean, even though it's 26 workers killed for very low-cost investment drops here, because the War Prism, of course, it only costs minerals, no gas required.
Sandshrew still floating around under 150 overall supply. Feed really is, he's basically even in upgrades. He's working on that +3 attacks. If he chroned it out, he might win in this upgrade balance, but Sandshrew definitely's been on top of that. He's aware of the fact that as a Bio-Terran, he needs that.
Well, the big thing that didn't work from the last engagement is his lack of EMPs. I mean, not even EMPs, like, he just needs to snipe off those Templar. The EMPs are very attractive to land on the Protoss army because it kind of takes away the shields, but, I mean, it's the Templars, it's the storms he has to worry about, and his Viking count, it's okay, but that's 4 Colossi, 5 Colossi even sitting in this army.
This is kind of just a random group of Blink Stalkers that are softening up these rocks. Perhaps we'll even take it out as
oh, this is actually going to work really cool.
Yeah,
if he warps into the main while these Stalkers attack the 3rd, I imagine Sandshrew is going to be very devastated trying to split his forces, and Feed can just blink up to the main.
Oh, it's going to be so nice. You can take out basically every expansion out there. Oh, going to take out the Ghost Academy.
That's a really smart choice.
As the Stalkers arrive and they're target firing, the SCVs, meanwhile, the whole army was dealing with 1 Zealot and 1 Dark Templar over at the 4th base.
Ghost rushing back, but Ghost alone, you don't want to send them against a Dark Templar. 2 Dark Templars even. Going to go for the engineering base, but I mean, at this point, he's already got his upgrades. Not that big of a deal. This base does fall. And that's got to trigger Sandshrew to go. Yeah, he's pulled his SCVs. He's going all in with this horde.
Yeah, he's going to lose every single supply depot that he's got, even the supply capped ones.
Oh, this Templar is going to get a 6 storm in the middle of the field.
Nice storm, very, very solid. Still alive, even. A bold Templar.
But it got no kills, but it softened up a lot of this army. Sure, medevacs are going to help, but there's only 2 medevacs with this. This isn't like 8 or 10 medevacs. Storms are going to be incredibly difficult to deal with.
Army supply, we're looking at 130 for Feed. Oh, another quality storm there.
This is really hurting Sandshrew right now, and bad. Feed is, he's already taken out a good chunk of his opponent's army. It's basically max supply. Oh my god, more storms.
No, they're, oh, and a ghost went down there. That's rough.
Meanwhile, back at home, the Dark Templar still going to town on the base. These ghosts are cloaked, and actually, there's no observers here. Feed is going to... This is actually really good. If there's no observers on the field, there's 1 left. If he scans it, picks it off, these ghosts are going to go to town on the army.
I'm not sure what Sandshrew is waiting on. Finally, the engagement does go down. Storms aren't really that great because of a decent spread.
Oh, the ghosts, they spammed their EMP, so they're starting to decloak. Despite the fact that the observer's around, it's not in range to detect these ghosts that are still cloaked. Good game is called nonetheless. And game 1 is going to go to Clarity Gaming Community.
Feed takes it. Puts his team up by 1.